Welcome to Career Uprising. I'm your host, Lorraine Rise, a career and executive coach dedicated to helping clients who are 40 plus to break free from feeling stuck and transform into the unstoppable force you're destined to become. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Lorraine Rise. Welcome to Career Uprising. Take a quick moment, please, before we get started and follow this show. I'm on Apple Podcasts. I'm on Spotify. You can also listen right on my website as well. But please subscribe and make sure that you are notified of new episodes because I'm putting them out a lot more frequently this year, pretty much every single week now. I've committed to a new weekly routine of fresh new content, and it's working well so far. So head on over to careeruprising.com/podcast. You can find the archives with all the episodes there. All right, so let's dig in. I want to talk to you guys today about an important trend that is, I think, a positive one happening in the workforce, been brewing for a little bit of time. It's called skills-based hiring. So this show is about the rise of skill-based hiring, breaking the paper ceiling. And I think that's kind of funny. I will admit I had never heard that phrase, the paper ceiling, before until very recently. So we're going to talk about what the heck that is. You already know the glass ceiling and and about breaking that. But now we're going to talk about the paper ceiling and what that means. So this is a timely topic. I want you to know what skills-based hiring means if you don't already, because there are implications for you as a career changer or a job seeker. There's good things, but then there's also considerations. There's just like anything. There are pros and cons, but this is a hiring trend that's kind of been brewing, I think, for probably some time, definitely at least since the pandemic, maybe before then. I don't know exactly, but I think it's really important that we address this today. So, first, what is skills-based hiring? Because it almost sounds like, don't we always hire for skills? Isn't that kind of obvious? But not necessarily. So, let's first actually talk about traditional hiring practices, right? Kind of that straight and narrow that we're used to. You grow up, you go to college, you get a degree, and then you get a job, right? So it's all about that piece of paper, right? So that's the paper ceiling is that bachelor's degree, kind of being seen in the past as the cost of entry into the working world. But what's been happening for a number of years is that's no longer true, or as true, at least, as it used to be. The college degree, while still valuable and still something that I recommend for a lot of people, it's highly situational. It is not something anymore that I or a lot of people would recommend just across the board for everyone. So, we're going to unpack this a little bit more and talk about why and maybe what's been threatening the college degree here. But the bottom line with skills-based hiring is that it's not just about that piece of paper or the fancy pedigree anymore. It's not just about, did you get that MBA from wherever? All right. Those things are, and I'm not dismissing those things, but I'm saying that the tides are turning and those are no longer the only things that employers are looking for. And I think that overall is a good thing. So, what employers are now looking for is really the skill, whether you got it from a degree or not. That is skills-based hiring. It's focusing on a candidate's skills and competencies over traditional qualifications such as degrees and also just years of experience, right? So maybe it's also not enough just to say, oh, well, I've been doing this for 20 years. Okay, are you good at it though? That's what matters. So skills-based hiring is about, can you demonstrate that you have the skill, no matter how long you've been doing it and no matter where you got the skill. And I think that one thing that is interesting is you can see evidence of this. I am willing to bet a lot of you who have been active in the job market, less so probably at the senior level, maybe if you're more at the mid-career level, You might notice skill assessments have been popping up now in job boards. These are really, really new. Only in the last, I think, 2 or 3 years, maybe five at the most, have we been seeing little quizzes and skill demonstrations popping up before you even get an interview. If you go on LinkedIn or Indeed, I think maybe there's others, but I know that those are the most common ones. It is not abnormal anymore to see as part of finishing your application. It's gonna send you a little quiz where you have to demonstrate your Microsoft Excel skills, in creating a little spreadsheet or a multiple choice, quiz that's 10 questions long maybe to assess your HR knowledge and gives you kind of situational, questions to answer. Whatever line of work you're in, little mini online skill assessments are now part of job applications. That is skills based hiring. They want to know upfront, do you have these skills before they even before they even proceed with an interview? Now, maybe at the higher level, is say director, executive, something like that. I doubt, I'm assuming you're not implying on Indeed, you might be, but it's not, less likely you're going to get a little quiz, but you might be asked to do a portfolio or a case study or something like that, some kind of presentation that is also evidence of skill based hiring. All right. And this is on the rise more and more. So, why? What are some of the key drivers of this? Well, there is a very real skills gap out there. If you guys haven't noticed, I think tech is really the industry that is seeing it the most, but probably some other fields as well. Employers are struggling to find talent with the right skill set, even though maybe they have plenty of applicants. It's not about how many applicants can you get. That's irrelevant. It's about how many can you get that have the skills and can demonstrate those because employers are looking for a sure thing, right? If that even exists, but they're looking for proof before they hire you of what they're going to get. And that's fair. That makes sense, right? So the skills gap is one trend. Two, the rise of online learning platforms. E-learning is huge. I even was able to engage with an e-learning company this past year and actually do work for them creating online courses. That was a phenomenal opportunity. That was so cool that came my way last year. And I did something I'd never done. I was asked to make e-learning courses on HR and coaching and things like that that I know that will now be sold globally. E-learning is I don't even know how many, but it's in the billions dollar industry. You've got LinkedIn Learning, you've got Intellizy, which is the company that I connected with, Coursera, Udemy. There's Google certifications, uh, not just free, although some of it is free, but affordable, on demand online learning is huge and it is threatening degrees. It is. Because if there's a way to get skills cheaper and faster, and you don't even have to step in a classroom, heck yeah, that could be good for both you, the job seeker, and the employer. That's very attractive. So that is reshaping the hiring landscape as well. There's also been a shift, well, kind of a pendulum back and forth between with remote work and in person. But the bottom line is there is a need for tech savvy workers. And maybe we don't have time to wait for a degree. The skills need to be gotten faster. The workforce needs to be more adaptable. Tech is evolving so fast. So there is a need to obtain these skills in a digital online environment that is faster. And overall too, there has been a growing demand for a measurable ROI in hiring. And I can definitely tell you, I am seeing this. Again, anyone who has job searched in probably the last 2 years knows the hiring process got really drawn out. We were seeing marathon interviews, 10, 11 rounds. I had executives go on rounds of interviews that were so long, and then maybe they still didn't even get hired or nobody got hired. Because of a lot of things happening in the world, we had a lot of inflation, we had an election year, we've got two wars. There's a lot of cautiousness in hiring and increased desire for a measurable ROI on the candidate before they come on board. So this has drawn the hiring process out and also increased reliance on skills-based hiring because now employers are like, well, does it matter if they have a degree or how long they've been doing it? If they have to be able to do the job, that is the bottom line. And I think that should always be the bottom line. And you're seeing too, college enrollments are dropping. They've been dropping for a while. And I'm not saying college is going away forever. I don't think that that should happen. I don't know that that will. But people can't afford it as much. And the ROI for you as the job seeker on a degree has not been there nearly as much, not for what people are paying and for the rising cost of tuition. So a lot of people, both employers and employees, are really kind of rethinking this relationship a lot and trying to figure out what matters. Where is the ROI for both? Is it about the degree and how long you've been doing something, or is it just about whether or not you can do the job and demonstrate the skill? I would encourage you to do a search online, read about this. There's a lot of articles. I found a great one from last fall from Forbes. So I think it was September. And I'll read you a little snippet of what it says. It says the main reason companies still have degree requirements is because they believe candidates who have a college degree are more equipped for the role. However, we appear to be reaching an inflection point as studies are beginning to show a declining return on investment for four-year degrees, leading some higher education institutions to pioneer and take to scale competency-based industry-aligned programs. So that's one reason why I say maybe college isn't going to go away, but maybe education is transforming. And I think it should, because I think we all know people out there who went and got expensive, fancy degrees and can't do shit, right? Like they're still not really effective at their jobs. That is true. So I think that it's not about knocking college, it's about reevaluating how effective is this and how can we make it better and how can we adapt to the needs of the workforce and make learning affordable and accessible and faster so we can meet the needs of the workforce and the employees at the same time. So I think a lot of things just need to be reevaluated. All right. Let's take a quick commercial break. We will be back in about 2 minutes, and there is more. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of skills-based hiring and what this means for you as a job seeker and action steps you need to take to adapt to the market today. We'll be right back. Hey, everyone, it's Lorraine again. While the show takes a quick break, I want to tell you about some of the exciting changes that we've made at Career Uprising. We've unveiled some incredible new features for our clients. We have a new client library with extensive materials, including ebooks, worksheets, and videos to help you discover your value and land a new role faster than your competition. We also have an app. That's right, Career Uprising has an app for Apple and Android, allowing you to connect with me and get the help you need on the go. We've also expanded our curriculum and coaching techniques to make the program more effective than it's ever been. But these new features are just for clients. Let's take the next step together. Head over to careeruprising.com today. You can learn more and book a call with me. That's careeruprising.com. You can also follow me on LinkedIn and subscribe to my free newsletter, Get Hired Over 40. I can't wait to connect with you. All right, let's get back to the show. Okay, let's finish this up. So some pros and cons of skills-based hiring. So what are some good things that this trend could bring? One, a broader talent pool. Obviously, this could be really good for non-traditional candidates who don't have a degree, maybe can't afford to, don't have the time or the ability. It could give them more of a fair shot to get in there and get the job if they can at least demonstrate that they have the skill or obtain it in some more affordable way. So overall, I think it promotes diversity. You get more people from different backgrounds, different walks of life who have that skill set, but maybe don't have as many years of experience or the degree. I think that's a great thing. I think it also can help fill roles more effectively if we prioritize the most critical skills that are needed for that job. Because job descriptions sometimes have are a lot of fluff and a lot of, other duties as assigned and things that are not really that critical. We need to get to the point of what is a bona fide requirement for a job and focus on that and either let go of or train them on the rest. It's really about the core of the job and what is absolutely required for it. All right. Another benefit is this allows job seekers who have maybe self taught skills or certifications or, quick boot camp training to get in there and land jobs as well. So they have training, they have the skill, but they don't have the degree because there are other ways to obtain it. For example, I've used this example many times. If you listen to the show a lot, my husband is a senior level software engineer, but he was a pilot before that, and he does not have any kind of computer science degree. His degree's in aviation, but he made that switch. He actually is a phenomenal example of skills-based hiring, and he now has been in software engineering for, God, 10 plus years, I think more, and he pretty much walked right in to a software engineering job with no degree, no boot camp, no certifications, nothing. But he'd been coding and he had code to bring to the interview to show that they were impressed with. So he demonstrated that he had the skill. And using software engineering as an example, that's a great example of a field where you don't need the degree. You can go to a coding boot camp right now and you can learn that skill on your own. A lot of engineers are self-taught, and sometimes those are the best ones because they experiment a lot and they're really passionate about it because they do it on their own time. So that's just one example, but that is a beautiful encapsulation of skills-based hiring right there. Now, some cons, right? So we have to think about, there's technical skills, but then there's also soft skills and cultural fit, right? So just because somebody has the finer technical skills that a job needs doesn't mean they're the right person for the job. They might be a poor cultural fit for the company, or they might have really poor soft skills that are going to make them less effective in the organization, right? So there's a lot we have to consider when we're choosing the right candidate. And demonstrating the skills to do the job is a large part of it, but it is not all of it. So we have to still look at the bigger picture. We still have to interview people and make sure that everything else aligns in addition to the skills, of course. I think that there's also probably some challenges in making sure that these skill assessments that we're giving candidates are effective and accurate and fair, right? Assessments have biases or human errors built into them all the time. So that is a real challenge. There's going to be have to be some kind of validation process to make sure that we are effectively assessing skills of candidates. And I think that that is only fair. Okay, what does this mean for you as a job seeker? How can you adapt to this trend? I think number one is focus on acquiring in demand skills with whatever means is going to work for you. Boot camps, certifications, self learning platforms, vocational schools, community colleges, whatever you need to do. If you can't go back to school and get a full degree, that's okay. I want you to do some research. I want you to get creative. I want you to talk to people who are working in the field that you want to get a job in and really see where else you could acquire those skills because chances are there's a way to do it. Then, once you start accumulating those skills, you need to have work to show. You need a portfolio, you need case studies, you need some kind of examples depending on what line of work you're in. And it doesn't always have to be paid. It can be something that you do on your own as a hobby. It can be something you do for a volunteer organization. As long as you can showcase it, I think that that is worth something. And that's what a transferable skill is. So transferable skills are going to become really, really important in this process. So building out your portfolio and kind of your body of work, and that could be writing, it could be art, it could be graphic design, it could be coding, it could be a lot of things. It could even be marketing collateral. It's applicable to a lot of lines of work. Highlighting then those transferable skills also on your resume and your LinkedIn is really, really important. Being very targeted in your messaging and knowing what employers are looking for and speaking to that on all of your personal branding. Then be prepared for these skill-based assessments. Maybe do some research, see what they're out there, and just be mindful that those might be part of the hiring process. And overall, I think that that is okay. I think that that's something we're just going to have to adapt to a little bit. But there definitely are opportunities here too. Like I said, creating a pathway for less traditional candidates to break into new fields. That is really, really important, and this can offer flexibility for career changers as well. Overall, I think this is a good thing, but there are things that we need to be aware of. So we need to stay updated on skill trends within each industry. So this is something for you to educate yourself on for your line of work. What are the trends? What are the top skills and how are those skills being assessed? And how can you be ready for that and be proactive about marketing yourself as a professional with those skills? The other thing that I would don't have any control over, but I would love to see change as a result of this is those dang applicant tracking systems. Right now, a lot of them are still the way they are built still favors people who have degrees. This has to change. This is a real obstacle. And if we're serious about skills-based hiring, that has to go. That having a degree can't be a required field. It can't be the primary criteria that we evaluate people by. So I do think there is still kind of a bias built in. But then again, one more reason why I coach people to get off the job boards as much as you can and apply for jobs by having conversations with people, because then you get a chance to tell your story where you don't on the application. It's very, very limiting. So just another reason to not make the job boards your primary strategy in applying. So, all right. I hope it was helpful and informative. I am fascinated with this trend, and we're probably not done talking about it on the show. We'll see how things evolve over the year for sure. We can help you. We offer coaching, resume writing, personal branding. We work with clients who are at least mid, if not typically late career or directors and above, anywhere in there, but all different fields. So we can help you to showcase your transferable skills, research what skills are in demand in your industry, help you bridge the skill gap. I work with clients a lot also to help them identify what are the skills you need and how can we come up with a plan for how you're going to obtain them. Getting hired is all about bridging the gap. Those three words, bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to go. And how can you come in and bridge the gap for them as well? And I will be back. So please go to careeruprising.com, learn more about what we do. You can also go to careeruprising.com/sign up. And when you sign up to join my email community, you will get a free gift. I recently changed it, so it's brand new. There's a free guide accessing the hidden job market with 14 strategies for how you can get into the hidden job market. You will get that free in your inbox when you join my email community. So go to careeruprising.com/sign up. All right, I'll be back with another episode. Take care. Hey, it's Lorraine, and I want to say thanks for listening. If you found value in today's show, I would be honored to have your review on Apple Podcasts. It's the single best way to help this show be found by other listeners, and you'll earn some good karma. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you next time on Career Uprising.